Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today I have covered pretty much all of the regular cast and some of the supporting cast, but I've been asked about me. So today I thought I might just share a little bit more about my history and my character and maybe some of the other things that I have been asked. So here we go. I started acting at a very young age. Initially, I had dance classes, a little ballet, tap, jazz, all that sort of stuff. And then had a little acting teacher, acting coach when I was young. So I was doing musical reviews from the time I was, 4 or 5. Started acting when I was about 6 or 7. One of the very first things I did was a little children's theater production of Cinderella that I did. My sister was in that production as well, and we did that show on weekends for about a year. I was part of that production, so that was a lot of fun. I remember auditioning for that and wanting to play the role of Cinderella, but I was a little too young and didn't sing well enough, and so I didn't get the role. I was a countess at the ball. Now, I have never heard of a role that's specifically the countess at the ball, but in this case, there was a countess at the ball. By the end of the year, I did get to play one of the mean stepsisters once. They were Meanie and Greenie. And Greenie had green hair and Meanie had purple hair, and they sprayed the hair. And I believe I played Greenie for a couple of weekends, so that was a lot of fun for me. And then I started working with a theater company. From the time I was about 10 or 11, I auditioned for a production of Wait Until Dark that I was cast in, and then worked with that director who had his own little repertory theater company. My sister worked with the company for a while too, but basically the only child most of the time in that company, and I spent several years working with them. The director, Jonathan Daly, who some of you might know from Petticoat Junction, he would write plays, and he would use that as acting exercises for the actors in the repertory company, that he would write things that would challenge us as actors. And so I did a number of theater productions with his company and only really left the company because when I started doing the Waltons, I couldn't handle both the full-time schedule for the series as well as being part of the theater company. Started off doing commercials and some behind this, kind of background work. Then started auditioning for different film and television roles. My first actual role as an actor was in the movie Hotel. I did not have lines. I was the little girl in the elevator. And when the elevator got stuck right at the end of that movie and was rescued, had spent a number of days working on that show. So that was quite exciting for me. Then went on to do episodes of TV shows like the Tammy Grimes Show and Felony Squad and some others, before at 13 auditioning for The Homecoming, which of course changed my life. I loved playing the character of Mary Ellen. I was a tomboy in real life, and I loved being, sort of rebellious. I loved the dynamic between Mary Ellen and the family and John Boy and her siblings, and very early on I established this somewhat iconic eye roll, and I recently came across a number of different episodes. Here you go. It's a series of my eye rolls.
Talk faster!
I'll never finish this if we have to worry about dishes and all.
But Mama!
You'll get to hear the letter and see the check soon enough. Now scoot. Go on.
What's that?
Well, it's a garter. I wore it at my wedding.
Once I had done the dance classes, I was also involved in a lot of different sports over the years, from playing softball with a couple of teams. The Waltons had a team. I played with a radio station team. I started riding and jumping horses during the Waltons, so that's been a hobby my entire life. I still do that. And then I would take up different sports based on being asked to do different celebrity appearances. I was asked to do some celebrity tennis tournaments, so I took some tennis lessons and started playing tennis. Same thing, I play this much golf because I did some celebrity golf tournaments. I snow skied, I water skied. I was asked to do an appearance that involved like being able to skate on a roller derby track. So I trained to do that and spent a few years training with roller derby teams just for great exercise. And then there were other things that I did for jobs, like I did several Battle of the Network stars. So I learned to throw and mostly catch a football for that. And then I did Circus of the Stars, so had to learn to wing walk and skydive, and then continued on in the skydiving for a number of years, had 2 world records I was part of, and then learned flying trapeze for Circus of the Stars. So over the years, yeah, these various different sports that I kind of picked up, and then, you know, I'd move out of certain sports and get involved in other sports. So the tomboy thing, I came by naturally. Post Waltons, the cast, yes, has always stayed very close. And we have been there and supported each other in other things we've been doing. Mary McDonough and I used to go see each other when we were doing other shows. I went to Texas to see her do a production. She came to Texas to see me do one. She came out to Pittsburgh when I did my first professional musical with the Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera. So I would go to New York. I saw Richard do 5th of July. I would go, and there were other things I saw him do in New York. And then I saw him when he would be on tour. I saw him do 12 Angry Men in LA. I went down to San Diego to see him do Camp David. Michael Learned, I saw her do Driving Miss Daisy, and another show locally. So, you know, I have really tried to, whenever possible, support my castmates in other things they were doing. You know, when John Walmsley was playing with a band, I went out to see the band. So we really have been there for each other. On the work front since the Waltons, not too long after, I pretty much went back into theater, did a lot of musical theater, which I'd always been interested in. Shows like Sound of Music, Annie Get Your Gun, Hello Dolly I've done multiple times, and then a lot of original theater productions. I went up to Canada and worked for 8 years as an artistic director with a theater company up there, where my partner and I were responsible for all the writing and directing of the shows. So that's where I got into writing and directing as well. And then when I came back to the States, I started working with a theater company down in Texas, where I wrote, directed, performed in various different shows over the course of 14 years, and then moved into writing and directing for some film and television, as well as, you know, doing guest roles on other shows. I worked on the Canadian TV series Bluff, which I helped do writing and directing for, as well as recurring in a role. I worked up there in Canada on Beggars and Choosers, a recurring role in that series, Stargate SG-1, the pilot for the TV series Ed, you know, numerous other TV shows that I worked on up there, and then had the opportunity to start doing some film work as well. And 2 films that I've written that should be coming out before too long, Another Day in Paradise and Finding Harmony. In my personal life, a lot of my hobbies and things, I mentioned the horses, so sports have usually been my hobbies. I also enjoy reading, you know, watching movies and TV. It's my business, so I enjoy it, but it's, you know, I learn from it for my own writing and directing. And I've sewn for years. My mother sewed, and so that's something that I would do at times on different projects around the house. I enjoy working on things around the house, do pretty much all my own interior painting, sometimes my own exterior painting. I find it kind of relaxing, therapeutic. I like getting, you know, being hands-on and things like that. Have done some work remodeling, not hands-on remodeling, but just more in the concept and design of it at times. Not so much an outdoor gardening person, but, you know, I will if I have to. And then, when I worked with the theater company in Canada, that sewing came in handy because I did do costuming for some of the shows when we were between costumers, have helped build sets for that. So, you know, I new challenges, new experiences, you know, they're fun. I enjoy all of that. So I hope that filled you in a little bit on other aspects of my life and my career, and I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll be back with more behind the scenes of the Waltons and more Ask Judy. Thanks for watching.